how sugar is made in factories. We all love sweet treats, candies, chocolates, cookies, ice cream, and even a spoonful of sugar in our tea. But have you ever thought about how sugar is actually made? It's not just dug out of the ground or scooped from a box. Making sugar is a detailed process that starts in farms and ends in shiny little crystals, all done in high-tech factories. Let's explore how sugar is made step by step from plants to packets. Step 1. Harvesting. Sugar mainly comes from two crops, sugarcane and sugar beets. Sugarcane is a tall, juicy grass that grows in warm tropical areas, while sugar beets are thick white roots that grow in cooler climates. Both contain natural sugar, but in different ways. So the first step is to harvest them from the fields when they're full of sweet juice. For sugarcane, large machines called harvesters cut the stalks into small pieces called billets. These machines also strip off the leafy tops and collect the cane pieces into big bins. The bins are quickly transported by trucks or trains to the sugar factory because once the cane is cut, it starts to spoil fast. Sugar beets are harvested differently. Machines cut off the leafy heads, dig the beets out of the ground, and load them into trucks. These muddy beets are then sent to the factory to begin the sugar-making process. Step 2. Cleaning. Once the sugarcane and sugar beets arrive at the factory, they're dirty, covered in soil, stones, and plant bits. So before anything else, they go through a deep cleaning process. For sugarcane, the billets are washed using water flumes or long belts that spray them with clean water. Sugar beets are usually cleaned inside big rotating drums filled with water. As they spin, the beets rub against each other, which helps remove the dirt stuck to them. The goal is to get rid of as much non-sugar material as possible. This step is super important because dirt or small stones can damage the machines and affect the purity of the sugar. After washing, the sugarcane is moved along using screw conveyors or belts. The sugar beets, now clean, are ready to be chopped into smaller pieces for juice extraction. This is where the real sugar process begins. Step 3. Crushing and slicing. To get sugar out of these plants, we first need to break them open. For sugarcane, the billets are crushed using heavy-duty rollers or hammer crushers. These machines press and squeeze the cane, breaking the fibers and releasing the sweet juice inside. The crushed cane is mixed with hot water to help draw out more juice, making the process more efficient. Sugar beets are treated a little differently. Instead of crushing them, machines slice the beets into thin strips called cassettes. These strips look like short, pale French fries. The smaller the pieces, the easier it is to pull out the sugar. Once the cane is crushed or the beets are sliced, both are ready for the next big step: juice extraction. Step 4. Juice extraction. This is where the sugary magic starts. The crushed cane or sliced beets now go through a process to extract their juice. For sugar beets, the strips are pumped into tall towers, about 10 to 12 meters high. Hot water flows downward while the beet strips move upward through the tower. This creates a counterflow that pulls sugar out of the beet slices. At the end, we get a sweet beet juice and leftover beet pulp, which is often used as animal feed. Sugarcane juice is extracted a bit differently. The crushed cane goes through a series of mills, usually 5 or more, which squeeze the cane even harder to remove as much juice as possible. The leftover dry fiber, called bagasse, isn't thrown away. It's often burned as a fuel to power the factory. The juice that comes out of the sugarcane is dark green, sour and cloudy, definitely not ready to eat yet. So now, it needs to be cleaned and purified. Step 5. Purification. The juice from both sugarcane and sugar beets is full of impurities, things like proteins, acids, plant fibers, and other non-sugar materials. So before we can move on, the juice needs to be purified. For sugarcane, the juice is pumped into tall towers where sulfur dioxide gas is added from the bottom, while the juice enters from the top. This process, called sulfidation, helps bleach the juice and remove unwanted colors and smells. Then comes a treatment with lime, also known as calcium hydroxide. Lime is added to the juice to adjust its pH level and help solid particles settle. In some cases, carbon dioxide gas is added too. This helps form a thick sludge at the bottom called carbonation sludge. The clean juice is taken from the top while the sludge is filtered out. This sludge isn't wasted, it's often turned into fertilizer for farms. After all this, the juice is lighter in color, cleaner, and closer to becoming actual sugar. Step 6. Evaporation. Now we've got clean, sugary juice, but it's still too watery. To make sugar, we need to concentrate the juice into a thick syrup. This happens in the evaporation stage. The juice is boiled in large connected containers called vacuum evaporators. The boiling happens under reduced pressure, which makes it possible to boil at lower temperatures and prevent burning the sugar. As the water evaporates, the juice thickens into syrup, a sticky liquid that's about 50 to 65% sugar. This syrup is almost colorless and has a shiny, smooth texture. During this stage, paddle skimmers may be used to remove any foam or leftover solids floating at the top. Once the syrup is thick enough, it's ready for the next exciting stage, making crystals. Step 7. Crystallization. This is where the syrup starts turning into sugar crystals, the part we've all been waiting for. The syrup is pumped into large vacuum pans where it's slowly boiled again. But this time, something special is added. Seed crystals. These are tiny grains of pure sugar that act like magnets, helping more sugar molecules stick and grow around them. As the syrup continues to boil, the sugar crystals start forming and getting bigger. The mixture turns into a thick paste called massacrete, a mix of syrup and crystals. This paste is then stirred slowly in a vessel called a crystallizer. Stirring helps cool the mixture and encourages even more crystal growth. By the end of this step, we have tons of sugar crystals, but they're still mixed with sticky syrup, known as molasses. Step 8. Centrifugation. Now it's time to separate the crystals from the molasses. This is done using high-speed machines called centrifuges. The massacrete is poured into spinning baskets that rotate at super high speeds, sometimes up to 800 revolutions per minute. As the machine spins, the heavier sugar crystals stay inside the basket, while the lighter molasses is thrown out through tiny holes. The sugar is then rinsed with warm water to wash off any leftover syrup, leaving behind clean, shiny crystals. The molasses that's removed can be used to make brown sugar, animal feed, or even rum. After spinning, what we're left with is wet sugar. It's ready, but still a little too moist to package. Step 9. Drying and packaging. The final step is to dry the sugar and package it for use. The wet crystals are moved into large dryers where hot air blows through them until they're almost completely dry, usually with less than 0.02% moisture left. This keeps the sugar from clumping and helps it stay fresh for longer. Once dry, the sugar is sorted into different sizes using vibrating screens. Some sugar is very fine, like what you'd sprinkle on top of cupcakes. Other types are coarse, perfect for baking or candy making. After sorting, the sugar is packed into bags, boxes, or containers, ready to be shipped to stores. And just like that, the sugar you see in your kitchen is made from tall green fields to neat little packets. The process of making sugar is way more complex than it looks. It starts with harvesting crops and goes through cleaning, crushing, boiling, crystallizing, spinning, drying, and packaging. Every step needs care, precision, and the right timing. Sugar isn't just a sweet ingredient, it's also a result of hard work, clever machines, and years of science. So the next time you add a spoon of sugar to your tea, bake cookies, or enjoy a piece of candy, remember the long journey it took to reach you. From muddy farms to sparkling crystals, sugar is one of the most fascinating and delicious ingredients out there.